It's a humbling injury in general, I think, right? Because, and it's also a humbling injury for a certain population. I feel like you hear about it a lot in the NBA, which I do want your thoughts on it at some point, but you also hear about it in a lot of guys over 40. The most common injury you hear about,
it's all Kuna Matata. Go ahead.
But you most commonly hear about it in guys over 40. I'm curious from your standpoint. I hate to bring this up. So,
it's okay.
But age 49, when this happens, is there a part of you, and you've had other injuries, we've all had injuries. In fact, the table is like a mashing it. But was this one different? Does this feel different does it feel like?
It feels different. And I'll tell you why, because it's the first time where so I've had 2 ACLs and now the Achilles, and each time they're like, are you going to stop playing? That's what everybody asks you. Are you going to stop playing now? Like, you're too old for this. Like, it's time to stop playing. And for me, you guys know this as well as I do, the body is a use it or lose it machine.
Yes.
Correct.
We are back here on Strong Talk. I'm here with David Otey, a 15-year trainer, and we are talking fitness and injuries with Sterling Brown.
Yeah.
You look amazingly fit right now. However,
thank you.
You have kind of a hidden injury that we can't see under the table. Tell us about the Achilles injury and how it happened.
Dude. My son had just finished playing he's 10 years old. He's in the 4th grade. His basketball team had just finished their season. And so the coach says, hey, you want to come play with us the following weekend? We're going to play like these high school kids just for fun. I was like, yeah, sure, I play all the time, right? So I get out there to play, warming up, do a little jump rope, do a little stretching, etc. Get on the floor. Cooking, bro. I got like 16 points. I'm schooling these kids. They don't know anything about that old school game. Back to the basket, post up. I'm like grandmama on this piece. I get the ball at the top of the key. I'm about to try to cross this dude up. I go between my legs to go left, and I go down. I go down. It felt like somebody stomped on the back of my foot with a cleat. It was like, boom. And I said, who stepped on my foot? And they're like, what? I was like, nah, don't play games. Just apologize, and we'll keep the game going. And they're like, nobody stepped on you. And that's when I realized, like, because you hear all those stories, the Kobe stories and everything, and I was like, oh, no. I go to stand up and put weight, and then I sat back down, and I scooched myself off the court. And they're like, you want to go to the hospital? And I was like, well, finish the game. I want to see if my team wins, because I need to beat these kids. So I coached them through, beat the kids. I was like, has anybody got any crutches? They gave me some crutches. I hopped out to my car and I drove to the emergency room. And my friend who invited me to the game, he's like, you sure you don't want me to drive? I was like, that's the left foot, bro. I can still drive.
Those are your 2 free throws, right? Like Kobe Bryant.
I didn't get the 2 free throws. Kobe, like, the testimony. The fact that he stood is crazy. It's crazy because as soon as I went to go stand up, like I could have stood on 1 foot, but to like try to put weight on 2 feet at that point, no.
And the kick in the back of the heel is so common. Like, so I oversaw a gym where we had 2 full basketball courts and open runs every single day. And there's 2 things about it is, one, the fights that ensue because people think someone kicked them. And then the tough part, kind of what you mentioned too, is like the after recognizing the scooch off the floor. It's a little bit humbling where you're like, oh man, I got to move now. And you find out how important it really is for just everyday activity.
It's a humbling injury in general, I think, right? Because, and it's also a humbling injury for a certain population. I feel like you hear about it a lot in the NBA, which I do want your thoughts on it at some point, but you also hear about it in a lot of guys over 40. The most common injury you hear about,
it's all Kuna Matata. Go ahead.
But you most commonly hear about it in guys over 40. I'm curious from your standpoint. I hate to bring this up. So
it's okay.
But age 49. When this happens. Is there a part of you, and you've had other injuries. We've all had injuries. In fact, the table is like a mashing it. But Was this one different? Does this feel different does it feel like?
It feels different. And I'll tell you why, because it's the first time where so I've had 2 ACLs and now the Achilles, and each time they're like, are you going to stop playing? That's what everybody asks you. Are you going to stop playing now? Like, you're too old for this. Like, it's time to stop playing. And for me, you guys know this as well as I do, the body is a use it or lose it machine.
Yes.
Correct.
And if you just simply cut things out because injury is a possibility, then I think you're cutting yourself off from like a world of experience and healthfulness that I don't want to. So I will amend, right? I will take my time. I will be very careful. It probably won't be full court anymore. It'll probably be 3-on-3, half court, so I don't have to worry about making big sprints or what have you. But I don't want to stop playing. But because I'm on the precipice of 50, like the other 2 ACL injuries, one happened in my 40s. I was 43, I think. And then the first one was 27. 27. So when 27 happened, 27 was the first injury I ever had. You had yours in high school.
Sure.
That first injury, before the first injury, I thought that I was indestructible.
Yeah.
Have you had this feeling? You know what I'm saying? Just
you can do whatever.
youthful, whatever. Like, I can do anything.
Yeah.
And then 27 happened. I was like, oh, wow. There's part of me that's Mr. Glass. You know what I'm saying? I thought I was unbreakable. And then here I am, Sam Jackson on the other side. Then at 43, it was like, and so the healing at 27, it takes time or whatnot, but you're like, I'm just jumping up and down steps with one leg, you know what I'm saying? Like, doing whatever you have to do, no big thing. I was hopping around on this injury with one leg. And then I was like, oh, my booty hurt. Like my hip. You know what I'm saying?
Because what it is, I think, is that, like you said, it's a use it or lose it proposition.
Yes.
When you're 27 or when I was 21 and I tore my ACL. Yeah, I think my first thing was, I'm going to come back from this, beat all the timetables, because I've been using everything in my body. Right? When you have an injury and it happens and you're 35 even, 40, like suddenly there's all this stuff that you may have neglected that then the injury becomes this mirror into all this stuff you haven't done on top of that. And then you're in trouble.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like, so for me, it's been 3 injuries on the same leg. And so I could see the atrophy after the first ACL and the second one, you know, and you see like thigh circumference is a little bit different on one side and the other. And so I think my right leg has been compensating for my left leg for a while and just not even realizing it until you get to this moment. You were talking about the NBA and then a couple of things that I think, I'm not sure, but you guys, I'm curious to hear your expertise. I don't know if the muscles in our feet are being activated the same way that our ancestors were because of the comfort of our shoe. And I think we need to actually spend a little bit more time barefoot, making sure that those stabilizing small bones and muscles in the foot are strong enough to support all the leaping and lateral motion that we want to do. I think that I've neglected that because I always work out with my shoes on, etc. And now I'm trying to, as I'm doing this rehab, how much of it can I do barefoot safely? Because I want everything to get stronger to support what I want to do.
Sure.
Thoughts?
Yeah, so I was going to say, I think you have to have a gentle balance with that. I think that you brought up a really cool thing. So a huge part that I try and convey for people is that, 6-7 million years ago, we transitioned from walking on all fours and using our feet to grab and move and maneuver.
Yeah.
And then we went to bipedal, walking around on our feet. And as we go over time, you start to meet everyone that's rolled an ankle, broken a foot, popped their Achilles of some instance because we are just a little more vulnerable at the foot and ankle complex.
Gotcha.
And it does go to what's the footwear that you're using in a certain instance in time. Are you giving the right dosage of stress to that foot and ankle to build its strength, but not necessarily go like, oh, I'm going to go run a half marathon barefoot for the first day. It's introducing it slowly to yourself. So I do think that, like anything in fitness, as you know from doing it your entire life, there's a dose response. And we need to know what's the appropriate amount we want to interject where it's not detrimental to us long term.
Totally.
What was the other thing? Actually, before we dive into the other thing, I want to backtrack real quick because we are talking obviously like fitness and injuries, and I want to dive into that. But I'm curious, like where your I guess fitness journey kind of started, because I think in a weird way that kind of informs a lot of this other stuff we talk about, right? Because like you've spent your whole life in sneakers anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like there, and it also tells us the deficits, like places where you might not have.
That's a good point. Okay, so fitness journey begins Little League soccer. Yeah. And then in St. Louis, Missouri, once you get to the place where you can put pads on, you put pads on. So football, basketball, and track were the main things through there. And then just intramurals after high school and stuff. And just any pickup, like if you look in the back of the car, there's a football, there's a soccer ball, there's a basketball, there's a frisbee. If Ultimate wants to break out, Brown will play Ultimate. Like, I just want to run. I want to play.
Do you consider yourself more of an athlete, kind of, in terms of how you approach fitness, or more of kind of like a gym, like a weight room guy?
I consider myself more of an athlete because, so what I'll do is, for the camera, if I have to do something very specific where the shirt comes off, you will go through a specific period of time of sculpting.
Yeah.
But outside of the time of sculpting, I love the hit. I love the cross training. Like, I love to know that I can use my body well in whatever environment I'm going to be in. And then when they need to see the money, then I'll spend like a very constituted amount of time, like on chest, on shoulders, on you know what I'm saying? Like that sort of thing. Yeah.
So one of the interesting things for you too, I think, and you have an advantage, I think, over a lot of other 40-year-old guys, is a lot of guys just spend time in the weight room and they don't spend time like moving. Like, you've spent a lot of time moving laterally, defending all these young kids too, right? So on some level, it's like you are better prepared to take on this injury than somebody who's literally just lived in the weight room.
That one, that's going to be a rude awakening. Yeah. Because it's like looking good sometimes is like not antithetical to moving well, but they don't necessarily go hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? Like, Schwarzenegger's not going to get on the basketball court and start cooking people. You know what I'm saying? He's
I hope not.
Big. I'm just saying, at his most like defined. Like, you see a basketball player, there's a litheness to it. Like, even in boxing, when I see a boxer that's overly muscled, I'm like, he's going to get tired way too fast. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you can tell what bodies work well and what lose. And I guess, so what's the body that I think sort of like crosses over well? I mean, I'm curious, what athlete do you guys think has skills that are easily transferable to other athletic endeavors most readily? It's probably a football player.
I was gonna say to me growing up.
Yeah, my answer.
You go first. You go first.
Well, my answer is probably LeBron, just specifically because of his capabilities, how much he can jump, run. Now, he doesn't have the endurance aspect. Right. But I think we're talking just like sheer athlete. That's one of those people.
He's a freak.
You know how I actually say. I mean, this is going a little bit in the Wayback Machine.
Go for it, Bob.
But it's I would say Terrell Owens. Because I think it's a wide receiver. Because wide receivers can sprint, right? They can run for a while. They can, but Terrell Owens also he proved it. LeBron, like everybody says, he can play football. We've never seen it. I'm also a LeBron hater, but that's another year. I'm team MJ.
We'll talk about that later.
But
team MJ too. But I'm not a hater on LeBron.
There we go. But I'm kind of a hater. But
semi.
But anyway, but Terrell Owens like proved it. Like, I used to go to Rucker, and you would see him like out there. Like, he proved he could play multiple.
You guys, I did a flag football thing with the Chargers in LA, and like Mookie Betts was out there. T.O. was out there. T.O. took his shirt off. T.O.'s like, he could play right now.
At like 52 years old.
He's a specimen.
He's ridiculous.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, T.O., the wide receiver. I think that's a good answer. The other answer I would possibly say is a proper footballer, soccer player, because of their endurance, because of how much they have to run, especially a defensive back who's a little bit thicker too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
No, I think it's good. And I think to that point, with a couple of things you said, I think are really important in that, right? One thing that you really love to do is play.
I do.
And I think a lot of people like to play. And as we get older, people start to just practice and not play.
Right.
So they stick to, heavy strength training where you're not necessarily moving a lot of these soft tissue, tendons, areas that you need to play.
Yeah.
But then they jump out onto the court or they run onto the, there's plenty of times I've gone and played with my friends that used to play in high school, and then we'll go out and they're gassed.
Yeah.
Everyone's a liability. It's like, you guys are fathers. We need to get home to our families.
Totally.
So that's also one of those things that's important is I think that no matter with the age, you have to have that engagement to want to play.
Yeah.
Because it does. It takes a little bit away from you when you can't do those things the way that you want.
But it has to, I think the adjustment, and this is, I think, the hard part for that over 40 crowd. Again, that is like the human Achilles tear very often. The adjustment is like our movement library has shrunk, right? When you're younger, you're playing all the sports, frisbee, football, basketball, right?
Yeah, sure.
And then just over time, you have, I'm sure you have less time than you had when you were 20.
Absolutely.
So you have to suddenly pick your spots.
Yeah.
And then there is a lot of, the thing we hate to admit as we get older is the idea that our blood flow is not as good, right? So especially to our joints, tendons, ligaments, and that's what happens. Bummer. That's what happens when
it's 40. What's happening? Why am I here?
But on the other end of it, it's because people also just stop playing. Right, so you get to a certain age and you stop doing something, and you get preoccupied with all these other things, so that you're not necessarily testing your body in the way it is. So when you go back, right, so like men are 5 times more likely to rupture an Achilles than females. But also in the same way that like men are also more likely to be attacked by sharks because men do riskier things. They're jumping out, and so like the guy is more likely to run out when he's 40 years old.
I want to see the study.
No, I'm not saying you can't be attacked by sharks.
You're saying
they're more likely because men are more likely to do riskier things. Men are more likely for their ego to take over on a weekend when someone says, "I bet you can't beat me in a 40-yard dash."
He's saying we're less smart. We're less intelligent.
We're more primal. Yeah.
And that's there's a House of Highlights video. I don't know if you guys found House of Highlights on Instagram. There's a House of Highlights video of two guys who are over 60, or no, there was 3 guys over 60 on Thanksgiving Day.
Okay. Sure.
And they run down, they race down the sidewalks, right?
Okay.
And all 2 of them pull up lame.
Attempt to race down the sidewalks.
I saw the one dude who just wiped. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and it is, again, but it all speaks to the point. They all got out. Men also, I think, very often, we get out there and we have a tendency to, and I guess this can happen to women too, but we have a tendency to instantly imagine that we could do what we could when we were 20.
Sure.
And it's funny because when you get out on the court, when you're in that moment and you're getting injured, you have 20 minutes of reinforcement because you're cooking all these young kids, right? Yeah. That you can do everything that you did when you were 20, right? Yeah. And then you make that one move, and then all of a sudden it just falls apart. Which I kind of want your take on it too, Dave. Just like, because a lot of times a lot of these injuries, it's kind of like, it's not a traumatic thing, right? It's not as if you were bench pressing and all of a sudden you felt your pec.
Right, no.
Your Achilles over time is, maybe you didn't warm it up perfectly.
Sure.
And I'm curious what you did for warm-ups. Maybe you didn't think about that. Maybe like the diet was off or something like that. But then all of a sudden it's kind of like, it's just over time. It was like a straw that broke the camel's back thing, not just that one move.
You want to say anything first before I chime?
Well, I'll let you go first.
Before I get on the court, I usually jump rope for about 5 to 10 minutes. That's one of the first things I do before I stretch. So I like to warm the body up before I stretch it out. So I jumped rope, and then I would do toe touches, right over left, left over right. I'll sit down and do the what's the inside groin? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so that was pretty much it. Like I felt warm, I felt loose, ready to go. I have noticed though, in jumping rope sometimes that I don't know if there's anything that I did that could have contributed to it in terms of like the strain on the back of the foot, right? Like I was thinking like, did I jump rope too much? Like, do I need to do something to give less stress there? I was also starting to sauna more, and I was wondering, am I dehydrated? Was there not enough water inside of me that made something happen, possibly? I was very excited. Just got this whole portable sauna. I was like, I'm about to sweat it out. I'm about to be in the bed. I was like, literally, and I felt like I was about at 11 to 10% body fat. I felt strong. I felt good. Like I had this whole idea. I'm gonna go into 50. Like, like I had a plan, bro. Like I was ready Because I'm trying to go for like 100 years. I was like, in the first half like this, and the next half it's going to be even better than the first half.
And then life just happens.
And then life just happens.
Knocks you kind of off kilter a little bit.
It does indeed.
And strips all that brilliant confidence away.
I want to talk a little bit about for folks who have gone through any sort of injury where they're not able to use their body in a way in which they're accustomed to. Because I think this is important. I'm a very happy-go-lucky guy and very glass half full sort of individual. And even I struggle with moments of, for lack of a better word, and to be as concise and to the point as possible, depression. It's hard. It is hard having to ask for help, right? When you feel like I should be able to do this myself. So I want to tell everybody out there, do not be afraid to ask for the help that you need. Don't go hopping around on one foot all damn day so that your right hip hurts, and then you have to lay up in bed watching whatever show you want to binge, etc. Like, take care of yourself and allow the resources that you have at your disposal, be it people that you love, etc., to pour into you. And when you need to sit your ass down, just simply sit your ass down. It's hard. Can
you talk about just that whole, again, you said the D word, depression.
Yeah.
And I've been there too. I remember like I was 30, tore up my left labrum again, full mashing in.
Sure.
Tore up my left labrum, and that was my point. I thought I was bulletproof. I thought I was Superman. Then all of a sudden I'm like, wait, I'm not actually super. I recovered from the ACL fast. This one sounds scary. And then I went on Reddit. Never go on Reddit if you're
Okay. Worst possible option.
I won't.
It made so much sense. It was like free. It was the early ChatGPT.
Sure.
But I went on Reddit and heard all these horror stories. I'm like, I'm never going to go back into the gym again, right? And again, you've got 50 lumen over you, all this stuff.
Yeah.
When I remember you went on that Instagram post, I think on September 9th or whatever, and you basically announced like the injury and you sounded super confident. But was there a part of you, is there still a part of you that was like, I may never be the same again after this?
God, this is not supposed to happen in this show.
Do you want a tissue?
No, okay. I'll be all right. Yeah, there's a part. There's a part. There's a part that says, you have so many my friends who are we all, kids of 75, 76, 77, are all saying like, look, dude, you're not the same. You can't be the same. And I, as a man of faith, have a very strong belief that so as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So as a woman thinketh in their heart, so are they. So as a human being thinks in their heart, so is he. And I'm stubborn. But I don't want my stubbornness to lead to foolishness.
Sure.
I want my stubbornness to say, I insist on being the best version of myself, whatever that means. And so I do know that there's a recalibration in my mind of what does that mean, so that I can do it safely, so that I can make sure that I'm always in a position to provide for my family. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm very lucky that this happened after I finished shooting season 2 of Paradise.
Yeah.
I didn't have to cause any holds in production for them. I had not committed to another job that people had to pull out and sort of reconfigure and everything. Like, it happened. If there's a right time for it to happen, it happened at the right time. But that's, most of the time I probably would have had to like disappoint some people who have already committed to making a production happen, and now I have to shift. So whatever it means for me to be the best version of myself, mentally, physically, spiritually, I'm going to do that. And I'm also in the midst of recalibrating what that means in terms of what I can do physically, right? So it doesn't mean that I don't ever say I'm going to stop doing anything, because that's what people want you to do. Yeah. You need to stop doing that. You a damn fool. You need to stop. I was like, get out of my face, man.
You like gotta change the dose, right?
That changed the dose.
Well, they're speaking from their experience too, right? They're putting their own barriers on you.
Yes.
And I think, frankly, from that, the important thing for you is number one, you're constantly trying to push yourself.
Yeah.
Two, a big thing that I try and tell for people, which is what I had to tell myself when I got injured, is the fact is you don't want to get back to where you were before you were injured. You want to get back to better than you were before you were injured, right? Yeah. So you're talking about the two ACLs on the same side and the Achilles on the same side, and you're like, well, my quad's a little bit smaller on this side versus the other one.
Yeah.
So now is the opportunity to actually remedy that and go, well, how do I really attack this thing to make sure that I'm building myself stronger so I can continue to do these things? Yeah. And as long as you have that in mind and give yourself grace that, listen, we're going to have our ups and downs, and there's injuries, and we all deal with that. We know that when it comes to injuries, there's the physical, and then there's the mental and the emotional.
Sure.
There's the amount of people you meet that are like, oh, that's my bad knee. That's my bad leg.
Right.
It's my bad foot. And that's one you need to hold on to.
There's also, to me, the intellectual of it and the sciencey, because that's, I think, the era that we get to live in now. Because I think, and this is what happened to me with the shoulder injury.
Yeah.
30, again, not bulletproof anymore. This is horrible, right? So what's the one thing I hadn't...
30 is how long ago for you?
We're not going to talk about that.
Listen, it don't raisin. Tell me. I don't crack. You don't raisin.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a while ago. Okay. But yeah, I remember it happened. It's like I'm 30. Not sure what to do, and so. What I found is like I was able to plug into a 2.0 for all of my fitness, because I was just a guy who went into the gym, and I think we all start out that way.
Yeah. Sure.
You're just a guy going out playing basketball. Yeah. What can come from this injury is like a better understanding of how your glutes function, right?
Yes.
Of like how knee and hip and ankle link together, right? And how back can support that. And again, I think the questions you're asking are the right ones. And whenever any guy gets hurt, like we should, one, try to work to get better, but two, ask questions about how we can prevent it and what we can take on forever.
Absolutely. You know? No, that's absolutely right. Like as I'm doing the rehab right now, you know, a lot of it is just sort of bringing flexibility back to the foot, right? Because it's tight. Scar tissue fills in and so you're trying to make that malleable so that you can still have the same level of movement, right? Then there's the implementing of strength, because the calf, you guys, you have something like this happen. Yeah. Within 2 weeks, you can stick your finger into your calf and it just, the little dent just stays there for a second and then slowly comes out. Where muscle normally just, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's such a humbling experience.
Tell us about that first 2 weeks. Cause again, like you're in that weird mental place.
Yeah.
Right? Tell us about the first 2 weeks. Cause I guess the first 2 weeks are probably when you can't do much at all.
Much anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife says that I'm a terrible patient, and she's right. Mm-hmm. Because in my mind, this is how I work. I was like, if you leave me and these children are gone, I need to know that I can take care of myself by myself. So I'm gonna tell you the most humbling part of the first 2 weeks: bathing.
Yeah.
I have the geriatric bench in the shower. Guys,
you still feel like an athlete when
come on, man. I just wore compression socks on an airplane. That's support hose for people.
No, compression socks are permissible now, but go.
Are they permissible? It's the one step away from support hose for my varicose veins. Like it's a humbling experience, right?
Yeah.
The bench in the shower. First, you have to like put it where you need to put it. And then you have to make sure that you don't slip while moving things around. I have to like lift the leg up. Like it's like I can hold it up for a second, but then it gets tired. So then you hold the leg so you can wash your leg, bro.
Yeah.
That's not a good look. No. It's a terrible, terrible look. And then like getting out, I would bring the crutches into the shower just in case getting out, I didn't want to slip.
Sure.
Like that was all, like in the beginning, you're thinking like, don't make it any worse.
Yeah.
You have a temporary splint. You have to take a plastic thing, pull it up over the top of the temporaries. It's a pain in the ass to where I would like shower just every 3 days. Because every third day, I'd be like, you smell like ass. I was like, I haven't worked out, I haven't done anything. He's like, no, you still smell like ass. As a courtesy to everybody else in this house, get the shower.
Can we talk about that too? Because it's like a shower is a workout for you.
Shower's a workout.
I guess
it's exhausting.
You're not doing push-ups, pull-ups. Like, so then you're also not getting the level of physical activity that you...
No.
And you feel yourself probably getting fatter every day.
Feel myself getting fatter. So before the shower, I would do the push-up game. So the push-up game is something I did when I was a kid, where you flip over a card, face cards 10, aces 15, jokers 20, and then you do the sit-ups on the other side. So if it's 9 or below, it's a leg raise butt up. If it's 10 and above, it's a regular crunch. So it's like, I'm gonna earn this shower. Excuse my language. I'm gonna earn the shower. So that's what I would do every 3 days.
So you could do that though?
I could do that. I put the bad leg, I put the left leg behind the right leg to hold it up, and I could do it like that. Yeah. So that was cool. But I will also say, what people tend to truly underestimate is how important your physical activity is to your emotional well-being.
100%.
Yeah.
Bro, and not moving, like not getting that endorphin rush, like not having that outlet, I felt it instantaneously.
Sure.
I was like, I am not myself right now. And I had to remind myself as I talked to people in my sphere, I was like, you may have a shorter fuse than you are accustomed to because you're not getting the same level of release so be kind to people. I had to remind myself. Because I was like, little things would frustrate me so much because I'm like, all I'm doing is laying in this dead-gum bed watching Dying for Sex. I was like, I got to get out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. One of the primary things is understanding that us taking care of our bodies is no different than brushing your teeth every day, right? So like doing that physical aspect in order to get your body moving, blood flow, energy, the way you have perspective, and the confidence that you gain from actually exercising and doing something that's beneficial for you on a day-to-day basis. Now, on top of that, what I would say is, if I were you and you're still in that recovery mode, because so many people will go through injuries beyond this, number one, give yourself the grace and understanding and appreciation that I do have the capability to move, and I can challenge myself, and I can do strength training.
Right.
And I was born with these capabilities. Not everyone is.
Yeah.
And then number two is I can push myself in that next day, and I can still do something.
Yes.
To that point, I can still do push-ups. I can still do crunches.
That's very important.
I can still challenge myself.
There is this instinct that's like, well, shit, I can't do nothing.
If you can't do it, you don't. If you want to do, you're like, I can't do anything.
Right.
And that's not true.
That's not true.
You can choose the little things, and it's not about winning the war on that single day. It's like every little battle, every little checkbox makes a big difference.
Well said.
And it's key to get that in too, I think, because like that's, especially for you, that's such a piece of your routine. And when you remove a piece of anybody's routine, like, and you see it in different contexts too. When you take a pro athlete and suddenly he's retired from his sport, for a minute he's lost. When you remove a critical piece of anybody's routine, they're going to.
So it's also identity.
Lost. Exactly.
It's not even routine. It's identity at that point.
Yeah. All of that.
And for a minute, you kind of lost your fitness identity.
Yes. and it's. No, go ahead. That's the question.
I was going to say, how long are you kind of in this state where you can't really do anything? And then when do you start kind of going to rehab? Or like, did you try to push that faster, or?
Well, I think my doctor, he saw, I give him all the credit in the world. I think he saw the malaise sort of happening. He's like, well, let's just bring you in for some PT. And he wasn't even doing exercises. He was just doing massage. He was doing stim. He was doing laser. He was doing infrared, like, all, just to sort of get this thing moving around again. And then he would give me exercises to do where it was flexibility. So I'd roll my foot on a ball, side to side, front and back. And then to distract me, he'd have me hold a medicine ball and do like trunk rotation stuff. So he's like, he wants me doing this, but like, he doesn't want me focused on that. He wants me focused on something else. It was a gift from God.
Yeah.
A true gift from God. Because up until that point, I was like, well, I don't know what I thought. Like in the midst of it, and I said this on my post, because you have to remind yourself that this too shall pass. Because when you're in the middle of it, it feels like eternity. It feels like, oh man, I may never ...
Sure.
And so he saw that and just started giving me something to do. And then after that, I would go back home I would take the exercises, and whether it was with the bands to just sort of like work on lateral strength of the foot, pushing and pulling from side to side, and then eventually pushing and pulling back and forth. Then now I'm finally, since I can walk now, like I can do things like, and so
when
now.
When did you get to the point where you could walk, by the way?
It's been, let's see, the injury happened on September 7th. I would say I've been walking for about a little over 2 weeks now, right?
That's good.
If I put myself on the treadmill, I'll put the treadmill at 1.2 and the treadmill says, I don't know if anybody's on this treadmill. I'm like, no, man, I'm here. This is as fast as I can.
How tough is it when you hit the treadmill, it starts at 3 and you have to press down?
I have to go down.
That's humbling.
Like, listen, I'm at 2.0 right now. And it's like, I feel like I'm going very, very fast.
Sure.
Right? And I'm okay with that. Like, I think learning to be okay with that is sort of like, okay, I'm at this place now of acceptance, which is like, at least I can walk.
What have they told you about the timetable? Like, how far off are you from what comes next for you? I guess running, right?
Running, like anything will be in a straight motion. You know what I'm saying? This stuff is
last. Yeah.
Takes a little time.
Takes a little time.
Right, but like, so I think in 6 to 7 months, I should be able to jog, right? That's the goal. He says a full recovery. He said for Kobe, for anybody, it's 12 months.
Usually a 12-month timeline.
It's 12 months.
How 6 months, does it hurt you to say that number? Because that's a ways still.
So let's see, September, let's see, October, November, I'm almost at 3 months, right?
Yeah.
Halfway there?
It's February.
So I got 3 more months.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. So on Paradise, they have your boy running. Yeah, Xavier B running. This season on the show, I did so much running, and I have such a healthy ego that anytime they bring in the stunt double, I was like, send him away.
Yeah.
I can do this shit.
I got this.
Excuse me. And I could do it, but I pulled my hamstring like twice.
Oh, wow.
On the left leg. And it wasn't on the straightaway. It's like, so we want you to run, and then you hit this curve. As soon as I hit the curve, I was like, whoa.
That's the same. Is that the same leg as the Achilles?
Same leg.
It's funny too because like I mean it's horrible. It's horrible to say.
Yeah.
But it's like or not horrible to say. It's true. That there's always so many little links. Like you pull that hamstring, maybe you rush back too fast from it, so you're driving off of your ankle a little bit more actively on every stride. So all of that gradually over time sets the stage for these Tyrese Halliburton. Remember?
Yes.
Yep. Tyrese Halliburton is the Tyrese Halliburton NBA in the
in the playoffs. In
the playoffs. And you remember he had like, I'm pretty sure he had like a calf that was bugging him the entire playoffs.
Yes, he did.
And then all of a sudden, like
it went down just like, because he just took a step and just dropped.
Now you got to think physiologically that it's very important on those things, right? So you're seeing a lot of NBA players, they'll understand and see there's a calf strain.
Yeah.
And then they're going to bench them for a while, give them some load management, because that could then lead to an Achilles rupture.
Yes,
Tyrese's situation is a little different because in that case, you're talking game 7 of the NBA Finals.
Last game.
You're going to risk it in those moments.
Right.
But for the general population person who's doing that, so what I would say is when you had those injuries on that left side prior to the Achilles, prior to the ACL, prior to that, those are all tiny signs that this side might need a little more attention, or this side might be prone to something, because there's always that bad neighbor theory. It's never the culprit being the spot. It's the area next to it that may or may not be doing its job that then leans into that.
So my question for you then is kind of off of that. When you were thinking, when the, like, did you think of those 2 hamstrings? Did you think of them as isolated incidents at the time? Did you, when you stepped on the basketball court, the last thing you're thinking is, the hamstrings were
just play.
Just playing. Like, completely isolated. Happened, several weeks ago. Should be totally fine. Like, I would warm up. Like, and it was for the first time on set. I remember somebody asked me, like, well, can you go again? And I was like, sure. And I took to run, and I was like, nope, that was it. Listen, 49 is real, son. It is real. It is like, and it's, I'm telling you, you said it very eloquently. In your mind, I can still cook.
But you were cooking that day.
I was cooking. But like the idea that like I couldn't do something, like the adage in show business is the show must go on.
Sure. Yeah.
You figure it out. You do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm an alpha kind of guy. I was like, let's figure. And now I have to recalibrate. Like, I know now that I was like, okay, I have to let the stunt double do things. I have to go to the director before and I say, how many takes are you going to ask me to do this? Because before I was like, I'm just going to do it as many times as you say.
Sure.
I'm just going to go. No, I was like, no. How many takes you need? And what's the shot that you really need me to run fast?
That's funny. We had one fun men's health story when we started. I'm not going to say who the cover guy was, but and I hadn't thought about it until this very instant.
Yeah.
But he was you very much want to manage your athleticism as you get older, and those moments you have, because we wanted him. This was very early in my tenure.
Okay.
We wanted this guy to jump off a box to get a really cool shot of it. And he was like, "Fine, I'm going to do this for you guys, but I'm going to do it twice." And you
let him know,
or you don't. And I get it, right? It's like he's trying to save his athleticism for those other moments. So I'm curious, kind of like, you know, as you go forward from this, right? As you go forward in terms of this recalibration, right? I think from a mental standpoint, what are you looking for? You know, you took your first steps. You've been walking for a couple of weeks. Like, you're gradually growing more confident. When you came in, you said there were a little bit of nerves with that, but what are you looking for, and how hard do you think it's going to be able to regain your confidence to go out and cook with the kids again? Or do you just never do that again? I feel like you're never going to say that.
I'm never going to say never.
Good. Yeah.
I'm never going to say never to anything. You know, I'll just amend and adjust, right? Like right now, so my kid is in 4th grade and he plays basketball. And every once in a while they have an odd number of kids. And I'll be like, all right, I'll be the 4th. And I just walk up the court. I just walk up, I walk back. Sometimes I can get a steal because they have short arms and I have long arms, whatnot. But I'm not doing anything more. Like, I think I'm going to enjoy my body in its current status as it improves, and then enjoy it at each state of improvement.
That's great.
I think that's important, right? Because otherwise you're just sort of like hard on yourself, right? Doctor just told me I can get back to squats.
Great.
Which is great. He had me doing lunges too. And it's humbling because it's really not the forward one with the left. It's the back, when you have to lift the back heel up when you step forward with the right. And just making sure it's stable. Because you go down on the lunge and you're like, and so you just take your time with everything. Like, I think that's what's important for anybody who's going through any kind of injury like this, is to have a certain level of grace and acceptance with where you are as you move to where you're going to be. I'm saying that out loud to whoever's watching it and to myself. Right? Like, it's not something that you ever sort of like magically just click. So you have to remind yourself, like, all right, you're not able to do what you were able to do right now, but you're better than you were yesterday. You know, and hopefully you're better than you were the day before that. And you just kind of keep moving in that general trajectory. I want to be able to play basketball. I want to be able to play flag football. I want to be able to do these things. I also know that, like, maybe there'll be times, listen, gentlemen, I'm that dude. How do I describe myself? I describe myself as an all-around beast, like on my social media profiles, whatnot. And I say that because I will give you 117% until I don't have it. And what I'm learning is that, like, okay, today you get 83%.
Pull back a little.
Today you get 87%. And so, and that's tough for me. But I also recognize that it's probably necessary for me to live the quality of life that I want to for the next 50.
Absolutely.
Have you?
I was going to say, it's also the recalibration of goals, right? So with every decade you get older, we know after the age of 30, you lose 10% muscle tissue, 10% water mass in relation to who you are as you get older with each of that time.
Right.
So it's recalibrating those goals and understanding that, you know, when I fractured my spine in 2 places when I was younger, it shifted my goals a little bit. When I got into my 20s, it shifted my goals a little bit. So my goals aren't to bench press 400 pounds anymore. My goals are to be an active participant in my family's life. I want to be able to walk my daughter down the aisle when she's older. I want to be able to, you want to be on the court with your child, not just necessarily to cook them on sports, but you want to just be there. You want to be dad in that interaction. And that's the important part for people to remember.
See, it's funny because my mentality is totally different from you guys. My mentality is like, whatever like anybody can do who's like I don't care about the age thing. I'm like gonna.
You're like lifting in Spider-Man.
I'm trying to be a superhero, right? Superhero to it. You know, like you know, Black Panther used to be killing me.
But it's honestly, I may have even said the same thing 3 months ago. You understand what I'm saying? Like this is living inside of a moment right now.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's I'm smiling and everything, but it's a recalibration, and it doesn't mean that it's easy.
Yeah.
Sure.
Have you recalibrated other things too, in terms of things that can aid you in maintaining the physicality you have, in terms of like, stretching, supplementation?
Yeah.
The thing I hear about all the time now is BPC 157 for guys, right?
I don't know that. What's the BP?
BPC 157 is this like peptide called the Wolverine peptide.
I take the Wolverine.
You do? Yeah.